Number, sound, firmware update, the Pythagorean technique that reprograms the mind and changes everything. In the hidden architecture of reality, where consciousness interfaces with the material world, there exists an ancient and forgotten technology, not one of wires and screens, but of number, sound, and pattern. This is not mere mysticism, but the legacy of Pythagoras and his secret school, a system that views the universe as a great symphony, and the human mind as a kind of firmware, capable of being reprogrammed through harmonic resonance. The forgotten truth of Pythagoras. Pythagoras is often reduced to a schoolbook formula: a2 plus b2 equals c2, a caret 2 plus b squared equals c caret 2, a2 plus b2 equals c2. But to his disciples, he was not merely a mathematician, he was a mystic, a scientist of inner reality, and the first to teach that all is number. To Pythagoras, numbers were not abstractions, they were the underlying code of the cosmos, the vibrational matrix upon which reality was built. Music, mathematics, and morality were all linked in his teachings. He believed that sound could tune the soul, just like a stringed instrument. He used specific musical scales, mathematical ratios, and meditative practices to correct emotional imbalances, align the psyche, and access what we now call altered states of consciousness. In a modern sense, his methods were like a firmware update for the human operating system. What is mental firmware? In digital technology, firmware is the foundational code that controls how a system operates. Unlike software, which can be easily altered or replaced, firmware is deeper, it's the code burned into the memory, determining how all other processes function. The human mind has a similar structure. We have our conscious thoughts, software, our emotions and habits, apps and settings, and then, underneath it all, our core programming. This is where trauma lives, where ancestral memory lingers, and where belief systems embed themselves, often outside our awareness. Pythagorean techniques aim not to manipulate the surface, but to recode the firmware. Number and ratio, the universe's hidden geometry. Everything that exists vibrates. Whether it's a violin string, a brain wave, or a distant star, all things pulse with frequency. And these frequencies can be expressed in ratios, numbers. The Greeks called this the music of the spheres, the idea that celestial bodies, though silent to the ear, emit vibrations in mathematical harmony. The Pythagorean school categorized these ratios into meaningful harmonies, specific proportions that were seen as gateways to spiritual clarity and psychic healing. The ratio 1:2, octave, symbolized balance. The ratio 2:3, perfect fifth, represented growth and harmony. The ratio 3:4, perfect fourth, reflected strength and stability. Listening to or chanting sounds based on these ratios was thought to realign the soul with cosmic order. Today, this echoes in practices like binaural beats, solfeggio frequencies, and 432 Hz tuning, all modern attempts to rediscover that primordial code. Sound as an updating mechanism. How can sound reprogram the mind? Through resonance. When a tuning fork vibrates near another of the same frequency, the second fork begins to vibrate as well. This is not metaphor, this is physics. The brain operates in waves, delta, theta, alpha, beta, gamma, and each wave corresponds to a state of consciousness. Certain sounds, especially repetitive and harmonically rich ones, can shift the brain's frequency patterns, drawing you into altered states. For example, low-frequency hums can induce trance and relaxation, delta, theta. High overtones and harmonic chants, like overtone singing, can create clarity, alpha, gamma. Mantras repeated with breath and rhythm begin to override the inner noise and install new patterns of perception. This is firmware updating through vibrational overwrite. Just as music can soothe or energize, these deeper harmonic structures can rewrite how your mind processes reality. The Pythagorean update process, modern practice. To access the Pythagorean firmware update in your own life, you don't need ancient temples, only intention, sound, and number. Here's a modern synthesis of his approach. 1. Numerical meditation. Assign personal meaning to specific numbers in your life. Birth dates, repeating digits, patterns in nature, see them not as coincidence but as symbolic keys. Meditate on sequences like the Fibonacci series or sacred geometries, like the flower of life, letting the number speak in shape and pattern. 2. Sonic alignment. Experiment with frequencies tied to specific effects. 432 Hz, harmony with nature. 528 Hz, DNA repair and love. 963 Hz, awakening pineal consciousness. Listen with full attention. Breathe in rhythm. Feel the sound inside your body, not just your ears. 3. Chanting and voice activation. Use your voice as a tuning fork. Chant seed syllables, like OM, HU, RAM, focusing not on the meaning, but the vibration they generate in your chest, skull, and bones. Imagine the sound penetrating deep into your subconscious, rewriting outdated programs. 4. Sacred geometry visualization. As you chant or listen, visualize harmonic structures, circles within circles, golden spirals, oscillating light fields. These patterns act as software environments that host the new code. 5. Silence and integration. After the sound fades, sit in silence. Integration happens in the stillness. Like rebooting a device after an update, your mind needs time to recalibrate. The shift, mind, identity, and reality. As your mental firmware changes, so do your perceptions. You may begin to notice old habits falling away without effort. Synchronicities increasing. A new calm or spaciousness between thoughts. A deeper sense of meaning in what once seemed random. This isn't magic, it's resonance-based cognition. When your inner vibration matches the harmony of the cosmos, reality begins to recognize you differently. You stop reacting and start resonating. Final thoughts, from math to mysticism. The Pythagorean technique was never just a philosophy of numbers, it was an initiatory path. It taught that to master number is to master reality, because both are built from vibration. In a world overloaded with artificial signals, fragmented attention, and psychic noise, returning to this harmonic intelligence may be one of the most revolutionary acts of self-restoration. Number. Sound. Firmware. Ancient tools. Modern needs. And when used consciously, they don't just heal the mind. They change everything.